This is Brandon Phuong Xuan Nguyen. I'm the eldest grandson of my grandmother, Miss Phuong Xuan Nguyen. She was born on November 19th, 1941 in Nam Dinh province on North Vietnam. In 1954, her family migrated down to South Vietnam and lived with her grandmother in Sac Trang. They then moved to Saigon after marrying my grandfather and lived there until 1975.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be.
Anh sẽ vì em làm thơ tình ai. Anh sẽ gom mây kết hình lâu đài.
Đợi chờ một đêm trăng nào tới, đợi chiều vàng hôn trên làn tóc.
Đợi một lần không gian đổi mới, đón hai đứa chúng ta mà thôi.
Ôm mê ly đời sống với cây đàn, tình tình ta dạo phím rồi ca vang. Chiều êm êm nhìn phía xa mây vàng, dục lòng ta dạo khúc ca với đàn. Một chiều mưa ta hát vang mưa rơi, rồi cùng ta mưa đắp cho tươi đời. Một ngày nắng ta hát vang nắng tươi, đàn cầm tay say sưa hát là muôn vui.
Look into your heart, you will find there's nothing there to hide. So take me as I am, take my life. I would give it all, I would sacrifice. Don't tell me it's not worth fighting for. I can't help it, there's nothing I want more. You know it's true, everything I do it for you.
Nhìn chân trên bến khi chiều nắng chiếu phai, từ xa thấp thoáng muôn tà áo tung bay. Nếp sống vui tươi nối chân nhau đến nơi đây. Sài Gòn đẹp lắm, Sài Gòn ơi, Sài Gòn ơi. Ngựa xe như nước trên đường dẫn qua màu, người ra thăm bến câu chào nói xôn xao. Ha ha, phố xa thanh thang đón chân tôi đến chung vui. Sài Gòn đẹp lắm, Sài Gòn ơi, Sài Gòn ơi.
Sài Gòn ơi, tôi đang mất người trong cuộc đời. Sài Gòn ơi, thôi đã hết thời gian tuyệt vời. Giờ còn đây những kỷ niệm.
We are in Fullerton, Orange County, California. This is where in 1976 when we moved from Davenport, Iowa, and we reside to here in Fullerton. And I remember my mom took me to school, and this is my elementary school. This is the junior high school that we attend, both my sister and I. My sister was 2 years older than me in 1976, so we attended this school for 7th and 8th grade. And I remember as a youngster, I get in a lot of fights, and every time I get in a fight, obviously you go to the principal office. And so one day the principal getting tired of me going to the principal office, and he said to me one thing, that he said, every time you come to my office and I send you home, what your mother do to you? And then at that time, it really set me apart because it gave me something to think about, because I don't want my mom to worry about me, to think about me. So um, just because of that statement, uh, I stopped some of my fighting. Not all of the fighting, but some of the fighting. In the morning, my mom would work. I don't know if anyone is old enough to know Alpha Beta supermarket. So my mom would work in the supermarket during the daytime, and in the afternoon she would come over to my aunt's house and do some of the house chore for my aunts. So now we're coming up to the very first house that we live here. This is Your Belinda, and the cross street is Associate. We're heading into this is like an apartment complex, mostly for the student at Cal State Fullerton, but this house is right there. That's the duplex that we reside in when we first came here.
Look into your heart, you will find there's nothing there to hide. So take me as I am, take my life. I will give it all.
And at the time, Richard is 2 years old the most of it, very young, and my mother have to take care of my sister, me, Nang, and Richard, and at the same time, she trying to make ends meet. It's a lot of responsibility for one woman to take. My dad is totally concentrating his school study in Iowa, and it's up to my mom to take care of all of us.
There's nothing I want more. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you.
There's a lot of memorable things because we didn't have much money of it. I was having a teeth problem, and I asked my mom for $300 because the dentist said that Medi-Cal would not cover for the crowns. My mom did not have the money, and so my mom just told me, let me see what I can do. And 2 days later, she gave me the money to go. But then later on, I found out that she have to go to another house to do some more work to get that money of it. As a kid, one day I decided to skip school, and so I went back home, and my mom was so mad, so irate at me, and that really caught my eyes. And then from that day on, I never missed one single day of school.
Người mẹ hiền yêu dấu, mẹ đã trao vì ta thật bao âu yếm trong những năm vừa qua. Mẹ hiền có biết khi lớn khôn ra đời, con sẽ nhớ hoài bóng dáng người.
And if you know my mom, she loves jewelry of it, and so I think that to her that brings happiness. And so somehow, I don't know how, she hooked up with some of the jeweler in the Vietnamese community, and then also hook up some of the buyer all over the country, and then she would send these jeweler to them, and then they give back the money, and then she get a commission from that. So that's another source of income that Besides working for my aunt for domestic house chore, the Alpha Beta supermarket, and also work as a jeweler broker. I always remember this house. This is the house that all of us grew up in. My sister, me, Nang, Richard, and then later on in 1982, Dan, my last brother, was born from this house. So we all grew up in this house. This is the house that kind of bond everybody together. My dad was here, lived here also when he came home, and when he have his chiropractic office. And Dan came out. Dan was very young as a baby of it. My parents would go to work from 9 o'clock to 7:30. Then when my mom get home at 7:30, right away she get home. She still have her clothes on. She went to the kitchen and start making dinner. And we would eat dinner around 8:30, and we would do that. We would do that for several years. And even when I'm gone, when I went to college, she still does that for my other brothers. Lots of memories at this house.
Em như cơn gió thu bay bay nhẹ nhẹ, đưa anh đi tìm vần thơ. Qua công viên lá rơi trên con đường về, bỗng nghe lòng đang ước mơ. Mơ ôm em trong tay đêm mưa thì thào, cho bão tố về làm chim bao. Mơ yêu em thiết tha như yêu lần đầu.
My Nang, Richard, and Dan went from grade school all the way to high school in a different district. New Year Day of 1976, I decided to transfer to Davenport, Iowa, to the same college as my dad of it, and I packed everything inside my car of it, and that door is still the same door as my mom that made of it. And as I drove out here, I looked back of it, and there were my mom. I will never forget for the rest of my life, because it's a dramatic day for me, leaving home by myself, driving all the way from California to Iowa. And as I look back, then my mom standing there, just looking at me, and did not wave. I did not wave at her, but we kind of have an understanding, the feeling for each other of it. And I can see in her eyes that how much she missed it, her oldest son leaving the house, but at the same time, I sensed the proud in her face that, you know, all those years from these humble beginning, from Iowa to the house that you saw, the apartments, to now, and now her son is leaving to do something with his life.
Lòng mẹ bao la như biển Thái Bình dạt dào, tình mẹ tha thiết như dòng suối hiền ngọt ngào.